Hello, everyone. Eric and Kim here. We're going to give our non-spoiler review of Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore, which is the third movie in the Fantastic Beasts series, which has been we've been told is 5 movies total. This movie has a lot of sort of outside the movie stuff going into it, which you can't help but think about, both from the fact that the way the second movie was received, not well, and the box office dropping a lot. There's been a 3.5-year wait since that movie. Then there is all the outside the movie stuff with J.K. Rowling and what people feel about her beliefs. Couple of the cast members with Ezra Miller, whatever's going on with bar and restaurant incidences with Ezra Miller. Johnny Depp was controversial casting. Now it's controversial. He's been replaced on the movie, depending on who you talk to. So all that being said, Fantastic Beasts: Secret Dumbledore. I'll keep this short on plot thing, which is just we're picking up after the last one. Grindelwald is gaining more power. Credence has been told that he is a Dumbledore, that he is Albus's long lost brother. Queenie sort of turned to the dark side and joined Grindelwald, and now Dumbledore, who is not physically able to fight Grindelwald for magical reasons, is recruiting Newt Scamander and a bunch of his friends, other wizards, witches, and one muggle, to team up to try to work against Grindelwald and sort of battle against his growing power. Kim, 2-part question for you here. I want to know what you think of this movie overall, but I also want to know what you think, because we haven't really, I think, talked about this much, what you have thought of the Fantastic Beasts movies so far.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm going to start using for magical reasons for not doing things.
We all should, right?
Yeah. Well, I come from a place of thinking these films are a lot better than they've generally been received. I like this franchise. I wrote an article about why I think it's, please don't come for me, everyone, why I think this franchise is better than the Harry Potter franchise. Controversy, hot take. And so, yeah, and I thought that The Crimes of Grindelwald was a decent film, and I think this one is a good film, and I very much enjoyed it. I liked of the whole franchise. I like the intricate plotting, and I think some people have criticized it for being a bit too complicated, all over the place, however you choose to look at it. There's lots going on, and I enjoy all the strands. I think, sometimes, and in this film as well, I think sometimes some of those strands maybe aren't explored as fully as you may want, or aren't resolved in a way you might find fully satisfying. But I like it when films do that in a way, because it surprises me. I'm not saying I want to be unsatisfied, but I like to be surprised by films, and I think the approach to this film did surprise me. It went, it approached everything from an unexpected angle.
So yeah, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I'm a put it on my body fan. And so it has been interesting. I've not hated these movies at all. I would not say that they are better than the Harry Potter movies, but I actually really liked the first Fantastic Beasts movie. I think, I rewatched them both before this, and I was like, no, this first movie, I really like what they're doing here. I really like this group of characters. And I think the second movie is overhated. It's not terrible, but I did think it was kind of a big mess, as far as it did have that problem, that Iron Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2 problem of the franchise building at the expense of the movie you're watching, as far as lots, Nagini's in here. We're throwing in just so many different pieces of things, where I didn't think there was enough at the center of the Crimes of Grindelwald. And so it kind of left me feeling kind of flat. Didn't hate it, but I also just kind of it definitely, I think, took the wind out of the sails of the franchise. I think because I think there was generally people like the first one, even if they didn't love it. But I think people were hoping that second one would be yes, here we go. And instead, I think people came out kind of deflated, and which probably led to people then saying, I hated that movie, even if it's not a hateable movie. I quite enjoyed this new one, though. I think that it is a bounce back in a lot of ways. It didn't make me think totally nailed it. now they like this completely. I think that there's a strangeness to this whole series only because the first movie is about Newt Scamander and his Fantastic Beasts, and then it shifts into Grindelwald versus Dumbledore in a way that almost makes me feel that they should have had a completely separate new series about Dumbledore versus Grindelwald that Newt could kind of come into. So I think that's always been a strange little fit. But I do think overall this third movie, it's a lot better than the second. It does justify having Fantastic Beasts in the title a hell of a lot more.
It does. I was about to say exactly that. Yes.
Yeah, and I definitely came out of it really enjoying it. Even as I still think like, yeah, it's a strange series overall. What were some of sort of the highlights for you? And let's also talk about let's kind of get out frontier of the fact that recasting Grindelwald, which is so fascinating because Colin Farrell played the character. This was a plot point that he was him disguised in the first one. Then Johnny Depp took over. Now Mads Mikkelsen is playing him. What did you think of Grindelwald 3.0? It's actually even more than that if you look at actors who played him in the other Potter movies. What did you think of this incarnation of Grindelwald?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Mads Mikkelsen, I was excited to see him in this role. He's such a great actor and such a great screen presence. But I would say I felt that he was quite a low-key Grindelwald. He was very different to Johnny Depp's kind of high camp, very mustache twirling evil guy. But Mads Mikkelsen exudes that kind of evilness on screen. Sorry, Mads. It's just he just kind of has that vibe of a really nasty villain, and so I forgive kind of the low keyness, and I almost wonder if they did it deliberately that way so it wasn't so jarring to have this replacement for Johnny Depp, kind of take down the screen villainy, the campness, the pantomime villainy, in order to kind of paper over that.
It's funny because going into the second one, I was worried that Depp was going to go like full crazy Johnny Depp. And I actually didn't think he did that performance wise, but there was so much going on with even the look of the character and the bleach blonde hair and the facial hair. And then he had the one eye that was a different color. And it was just a lot. There was a lot. So I actually appreciate with Mads Mikkelsen, that they didn't try to make him visually look the same at all. It's just, it reminded me of Blofeld in the old Bond movies where like, this is him now, and I liked that Mads Mikkelsen's version of it was kind of a little more, it was like world weary, it's like, he's been through a lot,
Yeah, there's also this element of, we did have him as Colin Farrell. I nearly said Colin Firth. Colin Farrell in the first
He'll get his chance yet.
Exactly. Yeah. I like this kind of unspoken idea that maybe he does change his appearance and we just accept it, and Dumbledore accepts it, and whatever, that's fine. That's who he is. That's what he does. He's magic.
Yeah, why not? I think it works either way. I liked him, and also I liked him and Dumbledore's dynamic here. They only have a couple of scenes together, but they're big scenes. And I feel like we can talk about the fact that like it's sort of canon that they have a romantic history, but the movies have like the second one, it was highly implied, but this time they're just saying it, which is good. It's just like this is their history, and these characters, there's like a sad. I think that's why his performance works, different from Depp, and I liked it here is that because there is like it's in the trailers, you see a glimpse that they have what people have joked is like their heat scene. Jerome meeting, which we have to go to war, but let's sit and have coffee first, or tea. But it's a good scene because they have, unlike in Heat, they have this big history, and there's sort of a little melancholy thing to the fact that like, oh, what could have been, that I actually think plays really well between the two of them.
It does. I agree. And there are still questions over the exact nature of their relationship. As we go into the next two films, I guess we may find out more. But yeah, they played it really well together. And that cup of tea scene I thought was great. Really, really kind of understated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should apologize if anyone is hearing lawnmowers or gardening tools outside, because there's a lot of gardening going on outside. Let's talk about Newt though, and has, we've both mentioned, it's like, so the second movie, I definitely think one big strike against it was like Fantastic Beasts, which are like barely in it. They're in it, but almost to justify the title. I thought that, and I think, people have also been like, wasn't this Newt Scamander, wasn't Eddie Redmayne the star of this franchise? I would describe him as the co-lead of this movie with Jude Law. They very much, they kind of have these parallel stories. And I don't think Eddie Redmayne is pushed to the side. It's just kind of now he is sharing the spotlight with Jude Law. But I actually quite liked Newt in this movie. And as we both mentioned, the Fantastic Beasts of it all, the fact that I think they are way better integrated into the story. What do you think of Newt and his beasts here?
Yeah, I mean, I really love Eddie Redmayne in this role. And I think the character that he has built is a really unusual and engaging main protagonist through this franchise. And you're right, he does kind of share billing with Dumbledore here. The tagline of the film is the secrets of Dumbledore. But he's integral because, because the beasts play a bigger role here. And of course, he's connected most closely with the beasts, with the magical creatures of the franchise. And there's one thing that I loved in this film was that Teddy and Pickett got to take a more central role in things, didn't they? Which was
yes. They're his his sidekick. Teddy is now the official name for our main Niffler. Has been around, but yeah, Teddy and Pickett are now very much like, they feel like his Robins to his Batman, and there's some good stuff with the two of them there.
Very cute.
They work. They just work. Then come on, Niffler. Don't deny the cuteness of the Niffler. And I agree with you, by the way, about Newt being an interesting offbeat main protagonist. I actually think he's underrated as a protagonist. Like just the way that he's played, the way he's written, as far as the fact that he is so not great with people, but he's so caring with the animals. But when he connects to people, how it works, I like that quite a lot. I just mentioned how it's written, and I think we should mention it is interesting behind the scenes that, as controversial as J.K. Rowling has become as a writer, this movie is notable because she co-wrote it, unlike the first two, with Steve Kloves. She wrote the first two by herself, which had been pointed out, for better or for worse, she had never written a screenplay prior to that first movie. Steve Kloves, who wrote all of the Potter movies except for the fifth one, came in here and co-wrote it with her. I think to the benefit of the movie, especially after that second one just didn't feel grounded and felt like too much going on. I do think this is a much stronger script than the second. What do you think of, we were seeing some glimpses there, some stuff. I really liked in this movie the magical battles, which is another place I think we've been lacking for a while. I just thought they looked cooler. They felt cooler. There's a scene that's glimpsed into the trailers in a ballroom where you see Jacob, who has been given a wand, and Queenie facing him down, that I thought was very imaginative and kind of delivered in a way I hadn't felt had in a while. What do you think of the actual magical showdowns here?
Yeah, I liked all of them. They felt otherworldly, genuinely, and escapist, transportive, and combined with the score, that James Newton Howard's score, which was just like wonderful. I was going to say magical, but in the sense that it feels classic and also festive, Christmassy. It feels Christmassy, and all of that combines to transport you, I think. And with the period setting too, I thought those moments were lovely.
Yeah, I know that there's always going to be, it's tricky to portray magic battles on screen, and I know that some people sort of had some issues, even going back to the Potter movies, about when it's just like wand versus wand and sparks flying, even though I think sometimes that can be cool. But yeah, I appreciated here that it got a little more a little trippier. There's a moment glimpse I think we just saw earlier where Dumbledore is confronting Credence, and we kind of move through the street like it's like almost like these like different levels of reality are happening. There are still some moments where I felt like they could have kind of gone even bigger. But there was a lot I appreciated here as far as what they were doing visually, especially because David Yates, I really love what he did on the last four Potter movies, but I did feel on that last Fantastic Beasts movie that it's like, maybe we need to freshen this up and get a new director in here. It felt like he was more engaged as a director on this one. I felt like than last time out. Other supporting characters, I'm curious, is there anyone else who jumps out at you for better or for worse? What did you think of the supporting cast?
Yeah, actually, I thought Lally, Jessica Williams, who plays Lally, was great. And I would have liked to have seen her as a character explored more, because she was just really engaging anytime she was on screen. I loved her performance. And Victoria Yates as Bunty as well, a small character. But again, she had a lot of presence and was a really fun addition.
I liked both those characters a lot. I liked how, Bunty was Newt's assistant in the second movie who kind of crushes on him. She had some more to do here. Lally, I think we saw in one scene in the second one. But I really like Jessica Williams. She gets a lot of cool magic moments, in fact, that we were just talking about, sort of very creative moments. I did think, I don't know the behind the scenes reason. There's a lot of speculation involving, was it because of things she said about J.K. Rowling? We don't know, but why Catherine Waterston, it's not a secret that Catherine Waterston is in this movie. She went to the premiere. It's also not a secret she's not in this movie a lot, which you can see by her lack of presence in the trailers and lack of presence on the posters. It's a little weird, just because she was so prominent in the first two movies that now she's barely in this one. I love those characters you mentioned. I had some complaints about a couple others as far as feeling a little undercooked. We had the character that we met in the last one, Yusuf Kama, who is, one of the wizards helping here on sort of Team Dumbledore. And he gets a subplot here about, going undercover that it felt like was missing some scenes. I wasn't quite invested in what was happening here and sort of what side was he on. Felt a little lacking. And I really like Alison Sudol as Queenie, but also because the last movie kind of had this rushed thing of her choosing to go with Grindelwald. It didn't really, I felt like this movie had to better justify that, and it didn't. It felt like, she's with him, but then it doesn't feel like she's having a great time from the beginning. So I would have liked more with, I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
That you're right, that wasn't really explored, was it? You were still kind of left questioning, what had happened between then and this film, I think.
Yeah, because it's a few months later, but it just feels like, we needed more. So it's almost like, those characters that aren't, because Jacob, I think, is still great. I think he's been a very likable, obviously, presence the whole time. But it's those characters that are, because I like Grindelwald a lot, but it's those characters with Grindelwald, that don't quite feel as fleshed out. I will say I did like what they did with Credence, though, here, and sort of where we go with what's going on with Credence's storyline. Took some nice little veers, I thought, along the way. What do you think of the use of Credence here?
Yeah, I think, he's gone full emo he's grown his hair out, and
he's got that Kylo Ren hair going. Yeah.
And I liked where his story went. So that's all I'll say about that.
Right. I want to say
as well, Aberforth, I just wanted to mention Richard Coyle, who he's another actor with a tremendous kind of screen presence. And when I feel like he was underused a little bit, but when he was on screen, he brought so much to that character. He just had a couple of kind of withering looks here and there that were hilarious, and a couple of lines that were really funny. I would have liked to have explored him a little bit more.
I agree. Aberforth, is, Albus Dumbledore's brother, who is written to be the forgotten brother. Like, I mean, even in the Potter series, I think it's like nobody ever talks about Aberforth. He does a lot with a little here. And almost makes me be like, I wouldn't mind a little side story with him going on. I did think, I'll say this carefully because I don't want to spoil anything. It was interesting to me, the way this movie ends. A lot is still in play, but it's nowhere near the cliffhanger, like dum 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 way the second one ended, which included the like Credence, you were a Dumbledore, and all that stuff, and people switching sides. It ends on a quieter note, which I A, appreciated as a movie, and B, I can't help but wonder because everyone's like, are they really going to make 5 of these? Especially because we don't know what the box office's third one will be. The second one fell a lot. Will the third one fall more? Will it stay at the same? I almost felt like they gave themselves a little bit of an out where if they had to make this the final one, they could, while leaving room for more Wizarding World stories that can pick up threads here. What do you think, without going into specifics of how this movie concluded?
Yeah, I think exactly the same as you. I echo that, really. It did end nicely, satisfyingly, if that's where they choose to end it. But absolutely, they have laid some little nuggets for picking up at a later date, whether they choose to continue with this franchise or start something new.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, a lot will depend on the box office, so we'll find out. Kim, overall, what would you rate this out of 5 stars?
Overall, I would rate it 3 stars. And one of the things that I haven't talked about that I really like that they've done is it's kind of a political thriller at heart, and I think that's a really bold move. With this hidden family secrets drama woven in, all dressed up in wizards' clothing, and I love the fresh. That for me was a fresh approach. And not everything was successful, as we talked about. So for those reasons, it's a 3 from me.
I'm also giving it a 3. Which which I know some people will be like, only a 3, but it is a solid recommendation, while still feeling like, it's like, I feel like if they take a step back from when they first conceived this series, things might have worked a little better. This is definitely a movie that feels like it's sort of course correcting from that second one. I think it does it well, while still feeling like there's a little extra spark lacking I wish was there. My gardeners are getting very close, if you're hearing that or not. But
I can't hear anything.
Okay, good. Okay. But yeah, I feel like that there's still a little bit like, there's something missing here, but I still think that this movie, and I know because of the off-screen stuff, there's a lot of reasons that people are sort of like exhausted by it all, or like have checked out. But if you are still engaged in this world, I think that this movie does give you a lot of moments to be like, oh yeah, that's why I'm into it. That's cool stuff with these creatures, cool stuff with magical battles. And it made me curious what they might do next with this. But yeah, overall, I certainly enjoyed my experience watching it. So guys, that is our review of Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. Let us know what you think as you start to see it in the comments, and we'll have plenty more coming at you here at Fandom. Thanks.